You know that feeling, right? A weird symptom, a sudden worry, and your first move is to grab your phone and ask the internet. We all do it. But what happens when the internet starts talking back with just one single confident answer? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into today. So let's really put ourselves in that moment. You've got a sharp pain, a strange rash, something just feels off. For billions of people, the first move isn't booking a doctor's appointment. Nope, it's typing that worry straight into a search bar. It's become this universal reflex, a part of modern life.
And now, Google's got a whole new way of handling these really important questions. Instead of just giving you a long list of blue links to sort through, you get what's called an AI overview. It's this tidy little summary sitting right at the very top of the page, designed to give you an answer instantly. And that, right there, leads us to the biggest question of all. I mean, when we're talking about our health, the stakes are about as high as they get. So where on earth is this AI getting its information? What are the sources that are feeding it these very official-sounding answers?
Well, a recent study set out to pull back the curtain on this exact question. And what they uncovered was, let's just say it's probably not what you're thinking. In fact, it's not what anyone was thinking.
So, a team of researchers in Germany took a deep dive. They looked at more than 50,000 different health-related searches to figure out which websites Google's AI was leaning on the most. They were expecting to see the usual suspects, prestigious medical journals, government health sites, but the single most cited source was YouTube.
No, you heard that right. YouTube. The place you go for movie trailers, how to fix a leaky faucet videos, and cats playing the piano, that's the #1 source for AI-generated health advice, according to this research. Not the Mayo Clinic, not the CDC, a video sharing platform.
And here's the number. YouTube accounted for 4.43% of all the citations the AI used for health answers. Now, I know what you're thinking. That doesn't sound like a huge percentage. But get this, it was more than any other single website. More than any hospital, more than any government portal, more than anyone.
So let's dig into that a little bit more. What does this data really tell us when we start breaking it all down?
Okay, so when you zoom out and categorize all the sources, the picture gets even clearer. Almost 2/3, nearly 66% of the AI's citations are from what you'd call non-medical sources. These are sites that aren't specifically built for medical accuracy. Meanwhile, the more reliable sources, like actual hospitals, that's about 1/3. And the top-tier academic and government sites? A tiny little sliver, at just 1%. And this list of the top 5 most cited websites really tells the story. You've got YouTube at #1, a video platform, then a public broadcaster, and then, finally, a couple of actual health portals. But the fact that YouTube is sitting at the very top of the list, outranking websites whose entire purpose is medical reference, that's the real headline here.
Now, this might be the most fascinating part of the whole study. For the very same health questions, YouTube is the #1 source for the new AI overviews. But in the classic Google search, the old list of blue links, it only shows up in 11th place. So this suggests that the AI is actively boosting video content way more than the old search algorithm ever did.
As you can imagine, this whole finding has kicked off a pretty big debate. It boils down to this. When an AI is giving you health advice, what should matter more? Hardcore medical reliability or just plain old online popularity?
One of the researchers, Hannah van Kolfschoten, basically says the problem is baked right into the system. She argues that these risks are structural, not anecdotal. In other words, this isn't about a few bad answers here and there. It's about a system that seems to be designed to reward what's popular and gets a lot of views, like YouTube videos, over what's been medically verified.
Okay, so that's a pretty strong critique. What does Google have to say about all this? Well, as you'd expect, they see the data a little differently.
So Google's defense pretty much comes down to 3 key points. First, they say their AI is built to find high-quality information no matter what format it's in. Second, they point out that a lot of really credible sources, hospitals, doctors, health organizations, are making fantastic content on YouTube now. And third, they highlight that this particular study only looked at German language searches, so it might not be the same everywhere else.
And to really strengthen their case, Google pointed to one specific stat from the study itself. They said, hey, if you look at the top 25 most cited YouTube videos, an overwhelming 96% of them were from legit medical channels. And, on the surface, that sounds pretty good, right?
But here's the catch. The researchers came back with a crucial counterpoint. Those top 25 videos that Google mentioned, They make up less than 1% of all the YouTube links the AI actually used. So yeah, the most popular videos might be from good sources, but what about the other 99%? That remains a huge open question.
All right, let's zoom out for a second. What does all of this mean for us, for how we find information, and maybe more importantly, how we decide whether or not to trust it? Because look, this is bigger than just Google or YouTube. This is about a fundamental change in how we get information, period. We're shifting away from a world where we get a list of links and have to do the work ourselves to a world where we're given a single, pre-packaged answer.
So this is basically the new reality. Step 1, AI hands you an instant answer. Step 2, the sources behind that answer are often hidden, or at least not obvious, and as we just saw, sometimes pretty unconventional. Which brings us to the most important part. Step 3, our own critical thinking. Our ability to step back and question what we're being told is no longer just a nice skill to have. It is absolutely essential.
And that really leaves us with this one big final thought to chew on. As we let AI become our guide for, well, pretty much everything, from simple trivia to serious health issues, we have to keep asking ourselves that critical question. Who or what is guiding the AI?